Those were some pretty good presentations before me. Mine is much more interactive, and it's more on moral and I'm sorry. It's much more on moral and philosophical topic. My topic is the world all money and power? I want you guys to ask yourself this question, and I want you all to answer it with a reason. So, Mr. Joel, do you think the world is all money and power?
No,
And what is your reasoning for it?
because money and power is just temporal and it's not spiritual.
It's not spiritual. Okay. What about you, Samuel? You think world is all money and power?
No, not at all.
Okay. And what's your reasoning?
Money is temporal, and everything is temporal. So life has it. You have. I just believe everybody has a reason. You have a purpose on this earth. So it's not all about money. The Bible says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness." So therefore, every other thing shall be added unto it.
Okay.
So if money was important, they would have said, "Seek money first."
All right. We'll get back to it. What about you, Andrew?
I personally, I would say no, but I would say yes to certain eyes, just for how the media portrays it. As truly everything I see online news, it is like truly everything. But like they said, everyone has their own purpose, and as long as you find that, I don't think money and power is everything.
All right. What about you, Ellen?
For me, I agree with Mr. Joel and Samuel. Money and power is not important.
Not
What's
important.
important is spiritual and your health.
Alrighty, you guys already know the answer. But money is important somewhat, but it's a balance, and we'll see how it is important. So here are some. All right. I just want this to be a discussion more than just looking at the PowerPoint. So let's see money's advantages. What do you think? What do we gain from money? What do we have if we have all the money in the world, what do we have?
Well, you have physical comforts.
Yeah?
Convenience.
Luxury? What about you, Samuel? I want you guys to just, pop out the points.
Wait, for what?
What do you get? What do you get from money?
Yeah, about like what Mr. Joy said, that you physical comfort. So I disagree to some extent.
Okay.
Yes, because I've seen situations where my own elder brother has money, but he was suffering from a very strong ailment, and we took him to the best hospital. Yet he still passed on. So money could not give him physical comfort. We see him crying, shedding tears when the pain comes.
That is very sad. But what I meant was that we want pointers. Like, what are the advantages we get from money? What do you get if you have a lot of money? What would you get for yourself?
You give yourself a good high view. You just look at you'll be opportune to look at so many good things.
Yeah, free time.
Yeah, free time that's also, but emotionally, no, not all time.
Okay. What about you, Andrew? Any advantages coming to your mind?
I'd say a lot of people, I think people say convenience.
Mm-hmm.
Money can't buy a lot of emotions, but it can buy a lot of other things. Transportation, maybe help around the house, just small things like that. That can make a person's daily life maybe a little easier for what they can do.
Okay. Ellen, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I'll go with the quote, money can't buy happiness.
Yep. But you just said it's not all.
That money can buy happiness.
Can't buy
It can buy.
All right, money can be very liberating. Money can buy you everything. Money can buy you luxury. It can buy you privacy. It can buy you security. It can make your life easier. You have stability. It significantly improves your happiness and improves your lifestyle, and it gives you fulfillment till some certain extent. Now, disadvantages of money. As Samuel said, a the other, you told us the story about this person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it can't give you that, emotional well-being. You would be stressed all the time. You would be in pressure, worrying about how to get money, how to make more, and it can give you a lot of mental health problems as well. Like people in stock market, they're like, really focused on those things all the time, that they're functioning, and at that time they would give out like certain amount of time just to those just to their work and just chasing the money, and they're like, every other relationships, they fall apart if you're just chasing the money. So that's one thing. Another is, it gives you a lot of insecurity. Some people that they have a lot of money, and it's just, it takes away their privacy in a sense. Just think of it. Think about Bill Gates. He has to pay for his privacy. Everybody wants to talk to him. Everybody wants to know his secret. How did he make all that money, right?
You had to buy an island for privacy.
Oh yes. You could get that with money. Loss of privacy and trusting friends. So I've asked a lot of people about this, that what is one disadvantage that you would get, and the most common answer was that I don't know if I have like genuine friends around me. So there's one thing. It divides society into different classes, and morally, which is not really good. And there's increased crime. So they say that a crime rate is related. It is related to poverty. And if you don't get there are two types of crime. There is crime of passion, and there is crime of crime for security. Crimes for if you don't have the security and you do the crimes. So there are crimes of insecurity. There are more than the crime of passion. So it's good to have money, enough money to get going with the everyday life. If you don't have it, people will resort to theft and murders, which is not good. So once Ruskin said that the ghost of money has captured our souls, any religion or philosophy of the world does not have the power to oust it. So here's the conclusion: the defects of money do not, however, indicate its elimination. What if we take the money out of equation? What if we take the whole monetary system away? Do you think the world can function like that?
No. They would just hoard the goods instead of the money.
But what if we think of an ideal society where people give and
Oh yeah,
give?
if it was an
The
ideal,
most
Yeah.
ideal society, yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
like heaven.
yeah,
But to implement that society,
yeah.
But
It's
then
tough.
you have to assume that people are going to be good, and unfortunately,
Yeah.
people are not good.
Japan is said to be one of those countries where they're like, but it's till a certain extent. You can't just go to that ideal model. So, yeah, the conclusion is that the defects of money do not, however, indicate its elimination. The advantages of money far exceeds its disadvantages. All right, now we move to power. Oops. So, power is the ability to wield force, authority, and influence. All right, let's discuss the advantages of power. What do you think, Ellen? What's the advantage of having a power in an organized nation or in a big level, like over the world? If you have power over the world, or if you just small in the house, there is always power structures, power dynamics everywhere, right?
Gives you convenience,
Okay.
but not all the time power.
Yeah. What about you, sir, Joel? Mr. Joel?
Hmm. What is the question again?
What's the advantage of having a power?
It's if you have power, you have influence to basically set your own agenda and have other people follow it.
Okay.
So your will is done.
All right. Interesting. What about you, Samuel?
I think if you have power, it makes you feel superior.
About that, it can be both ways, right? You can set your own agenda. It can be positive agenda. It can be negative agenda. So
Right.
it is a disadvantage and advantage at
Well,
the
no,
same time.
to you, if it's your power, it depends. If you look at society, it could be negative on society, right? So
Yeah.
we've had people influence power for good and people influence power for bad in history as examples.
Yeah.
But they had that power so that people followed their agenda, either for good or bad.
All right. Moving on to Andrew.
Yeah, I do agree with Mr. Peterson about like how just the physical aspects of it, but also I think for some people the mental aspects. People like to be seen as higher up, and with that power, you get that sense of feeling that like people will see me a little differently. So if I'm always looking down on someone, you genuinely have to look up to them for what they can do to you. And I think some people, or how they grew up, or maybe it's just that feeling that some people crave. If some people also just don't know what to do with it.
So it ultimately comes back to the leadership, the kind of leader that you have, which it can be gained by two means. One is dictatorship, and another one is mutually agreeing, which is our democracy system. And that's what we had in the past, the hierarchical society, and now we have democrat society. Moving on to, so we're just gonna go through the advantages. It influences people's behavior and attitudes. If you have a good leader, it can make the whole system work so productively, and you can have the ideal household or the ideal company, and we can progress. It improves productivity, inflicts positive changes. It gives accountability. So you have somebody to blame at the end of the day if things don't go right. Fair resources allocation. And the disadvantages of power is the abuse of power. People can push their own agendas. Lack of innovation. Lack of innovation is like, if somebody's always giving you orders and somebody's always showing you where to go, what to do, then you won't be using your own brain. You'll just become a follower. Resentment and conflicts. So it happens. There are always positive sides and negative sides. There are always, just like our elections, there's Democrats and there's Republicans, right? There's always two sides. So there will be people who likes your leadership, and there will be people who wouldn't like it, who would feel negative. But the positives have to outweigh the negatives. That's the equation. So it can lead to a lot of resentment, and some people, they would, stir up some conflicts in the workplace or your household too. Next point is limited perspective for decision making. Limited perspective for decision making is that if you put one person in power and you give them all the authority, it's just that one person's mindset or everybody else. So they should be open to listen to everybody's opinions. By that way we can have a fair system. And employee disagreement and decreased motivation. So even if somebody is in the power and who has all the power and they're really assertive and strong, and if they assert their way and if they implement their ways and not listen to the people, then it can in turn turn out to be people can't say what they want to say in those situations, and they can they still have resentment. So it can end up being like, people in resentment, they would just work for the sake of working. Sometimes you hate your work so much that you just, but you still have to go every day. You still have to do what you do. So it can decrease your motivation in terms of decrease your productivity. All right, moving on to next one, the conclusion. Power can be necessary and beneficial aspect of organizational structures, and it is important to manage and wield it responsibly. One tip is that encourage the balance of power by collaboration, transparency, fairness to foster a healthy environment. All right. So after all this materialistic and power talk, I wanted to talk a little about fulfillments of life. And what do you guys think fulfills our life? What is fulfillment to you, Ellen?
To have good health and survive the life. To live
Okay.
longer.
Good health and survival.
Yeah,
To live longer.
to live longer.
I see. What about you, Mr. Joel? What is fulfillment?
Fulfillment for me is doing a good work and having a love with family and friends.
That's good. What about you, Samuel? What fulfills you?
Yeah, what fulfillment is to me, I look at it as me achieving my goals. That's one. Achieving my goals.
That's a good one.
Put a smile in people's face surrounding me. I hate people. I hate seeing people cry. I hate it. So I wish I'm Jesus Christ. And above all, I've always wished myself good health and see my children, the 10th generation after me, that will come through me, succeeding as well too. That's
Okay. So it's prosperity.
all. Yeah, prosperity is not all about money,
Yeah.
but having the same dream I have. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Andrew? What fulfills you?
My fulfillment is, I would say, my personal fulfillment is I like to see the impact I have on other people. I like seeing, when I help people, I like to see the good that's come out of it. That fulfills my life a lot.
Yeah. Giving is receiving. Right. So the conclusion of going the other way. Fulfillments of life. They say there's just one formula, 3 things. You have to have something to love, something to do, and something to look forward to. Something to do is staying in the present moment, like Andrew's presentation. Like, always have something to do. Being idle is like inviting all the mental health diseases in yourself. Being idle. Something to love. It's just, money and power is just all materialistic, and it's just like, asserting your dominance, being like, it's at the end of the day, you just want to relax, and you just want to, you want to feel secure emotionally, financially, and everything. And if you have somebody they love you unconditionally, no matter what, that's a luxury for me. And something to look forward to. We always have to have goals. If you don't have a goal, then you're just a sheep following the shepherd. All right, I just want to end it on a good quote. Gratitude is an appreciation for every moment in your life, and it is a feeling of abundance. Always be thankful.